Hey YouTube and caymanas Park Turf Fights. Welcome back to Down the Stretch. I'm your host Christopher Charlton. Um, Last week wasn't a bad week, and tomorrow, it's the big day. It's MOUTTET Mile Day, and boy, we have a program on our hands. Full fields everywhere, and I'm going to try my best to really dig in and find out if I can spot some of these winners. All right, let's get started. First race. The first race, let me scroll to this here. It's main event anniversary trophy, nature bred 4 years and up, non-reserve 2, and imported 4 years and up, maidens 16 starters, so it's a full field, 6.5 furlongs is the distance. And I've boiled this race down to 5 horses. There are the 2, Storm Boy, the 5, Joe Blaine, the 7, Money Box, the 12, Propellant, and the 16, Manushi. Okay, Storm Boy. Long shot in the event. Last time it was the 23rd of November. This was over 4 furlongs straight. Didn't do too bad. It was only beaten 7 lengths fifth to Lambo Girl in that race where Lambo Girl was a runaway winner. Was only probably a length and a quarter off or a half off of Read My Lips, and only maybe a half a length off Money Box. Stretched out now to 6.5 furlongs. And I think we're going to get a better run from Storm Boy. I'm expected to see a much better run from Storm Boy here. The 5, Joe Blaine, has disappointed in his last 2 starts. Was way off the pace back in October. Finished 4th by 3 lengths to Veliki Viki. Came back in November, stretched out even further to 7 furlongs. Didn't enjoy that at all. Made a move at the top of the lane and then flattened out in the stretch. So they're cutting distance back by half a furlong back to 6.5. Should be right up his territory. Looks like a run-on sprinter. So he has visiting rider Kevin Krieger in the saddle, and a much better showing from Joe Blaine is expected. Next up, we've got the 7. That is Money Box. Knocking at the door in recent times, but not getting close enough to open it. Last time out was over the 4th Street. That was definitely too short for him. I liked him that day, but he had a lot to do. Came from way out of it to finish 3rd to Lambo Girl running away from them. Was still only maybe just a length off the second horse. So it show you how fast he was closing. Before that, at 7 furlongs was 3rd to Pretty Caroline and Papa Gray. 6.5, not to be a problem, and definitely will be one of them coming back. Get back his favorite rider, Paul Francis, in the saddle. So I think he is one of those that will be coming home fast. Now, the interesting horse of the event is this 12 horse, Propellant. 1 start, 2nd. This is 10 months, well, more than 10 months. It was October 28th of 2023. This horse was 2nd the entire way, going 9.25 to Super Alex. Had Life is Life behind. A very good run, 9 furlongs and 25-yard race. Well, this very well bred into mischief son out of the Quality Road mare Quality Way. Very well bred horse. Owned by Shavan Maharaj, owner of the Derby, recent Derby winner. Owner of a few double winner. He won Calculus as well as Supreme Soul. So he won 3 derbies. So he doesn't, but when he spends his money on horses, he generally buys good horses. So this horse has been freshened up for this. Definitely had his problems. Coming back now, the owner's favorite jockeys in the saddle at Shane Ellis, and once returning to the wicket super fit, I think this Propellant possibly blows this field away. The 16th, Manouche came off of a rest and was narrowly beaten on last at 6 furlongs. So comes back here fighting fit. Radish Roman is now in the saddle and expecting another decent run from Manouche. And if Propellant does not turn up, I think Manouche or possibly Money Box might be the horses to finish fast to catch it. But I'm leaning towards this 12 Propellant. You know, he's well bred. Made his debut and ran second. So coming back against these, once he's sound and ready, I think Propellant gets the win. The second race, Visit Jamaica. Nature bred 3-year-old maidens. Big field of 13, 6.5 furlongs. And I boil this race down to 5. They are the 3, Tornado Steel, the 5, Blood Moon, the 7, Radam, the 11, Bomb Night, and 13, Princess Catalea. Okay, Tornado Steel. 85 favorite on last over the 4 furlong straight. Chase, the winner for the most of the race, finished back third. Has Kevin Krieger in the saddle, visiting rider. Blinkers now on, going 6.5 furlongs, so I think they want him to probably go right to the lead in this race. Will he be able to get to relax on that lead? That's left to be seen. Next up we have the 5, Blood Moon, from the Gary Sobrati stable. Dane Darkin replace Radish Roman. Blood Moon now, who I think might be the horse that they're going to have to catch. I think Blood Moon is the one that's going to jump on that lead, and they're going to have to catch him. So maybe that's why the blinkers have been fitted on this Tornado Steel, so he can keep pace with this Blood Moon. Next up is the 7, Radam, beaten favorite and last at 65 at 5 furlongs round, running on third to Chinita Estrella. Ran well because no one went with Chinita Estrella. She managed to get a lone speed and run away with it. So good run there from Radam. The distance, extra distance should help him now. He's going to have speed in front of him. So if relaxed by T Foster and waited with for the final 3, I'm expecting Radam to be coming home strong. The 11, Bomb Night. This has disappointed me at last. But as I said, Chinita Estrella got a lone lead. Bomb Night had no pace to run at. Plus, he was slowly into stride. She was slowly into stride. Still managed to make up 7 lengths in the last furlong to beat 6 by 9 lengths. Shane Richardson now gets a ride. I'm expecting a much better run now from Bomb Night from a clean start. And the horse I think they're all going to have to beat is this Princess Catalea. 1 to 2 favorite on last. That was last week Saturday at 7.5 furlongs. Another case of lone speed happening. Havajoy went to the front and no one could press her, and Princess Catalina had to be doing that dirty work. Princess Catalina runs her best races when she's rated off the pace and runs on. Gets Dane Nelson now, drawing 13, going to have some space in front of her, so I think she's going to get the pace she wants. Patrick Lynch carried her back 7 days after she raced, so that's a sign that she's coming to win, and I think that's the horse they're going to have to beat. A long shot to note, to squeeze into your exotic bets, is a horse. I carry him every time I run because I know he's much better than he's running, is DBA Machine, but just can't seem to come out of those starting gates properly. Gives it away at the start every time. Jason must be frustrated with him like me, but I think if this DBA Machine gets a good start, would not surprise me if he comes in and makes the superfecta, trifecta, whatever, pay a lot of money, because he's going to run a good race at a big price if he decides to jump. Okay, so top 5 again. The 3, Tornado Steel. The 5, Blood Moon. The 7, Radam. The 11, Bomb Night. The 13, the horse they all have to beat, Princess Catalea. And watch out for a good run from a long shot, the 4, DBA Machine. The third race, Flow Trophy. Native bred 4 years and up, non-runners of 3, and imported 4 years and up, non-runners of 2. Big field, 15, 7 furlongs. And I'm going to boil this race down to 5 again. Okay. There are going to be the 2, Empress Lynx, the 9, Tiger Amidat, the 10, Sweet Victory, the 11, Bella Bella, and the 12, Cosmic Force. Okay. Number 2, Empress Lynx. Late running start. Was third and last, so She's My Hedge Fund ran very well because no one was able to go with She's My Hedge Fund early. So Empress Lynx did not get a pace to run at. She had to come from way off the pace to finish a very good third, and gets the same distance here again. Philip Parchment retains the ride, and if she gets a pace to run at, I'm expecting Empress Lynx to put in another good run. The 9, Tiger Amidat, This horse is, and last was 5th by 14 in that Mr. Senator race at 7.5 furlongs. But just before that, won the class below this, beating Dream Warrior and Glittering Magnum back in August. So, you can excuse that last run. He was prominent coming past the half mile, then outsped. Has been put down and programmed by trainer Anthony Nunes. Tevin Foster gets the ride here on this American Tiger Amidat. Worked with Mr. Senator recently, out the chute, 5 furlongs and a minute 3. So I think he's very tuned in for this race. They've changed the equipment. I'm trying to see what they've taken the figure 8 off. So I think they're going to try something out, and it might work out. So let's see how this Tiger Amidat runs. The 10, Sweet Victory. Late running start. Does her best running in the stretch, especially if she gets a pace to run at. 7 furlongs might be on the sharp side for this Sweet Victory. Would have preferred maybe another furlong. But looking back on the 7th of September, 7.5 was 4th by 6 lengths to Mr. Senator, who won that race by 3.5 lengths over Uncaptured Emerson and Sparkles. That's looking good for him here. I think this Sweet Victory, if he gets a strong pace in front of him, I think he'll be the one finishing best of all at a very good price. So I have to squeeze Sweet Victory in here. The 11, this is an interesting horse. This is Bella Bella. Hasn't raced since November of last year, when it was beaten 7th by 25 lengths to Atlantic Convoy. But before that was a winner at 5.5 furlongs, beating The Love of God and Bossy. Dale Murphy. Some obviously had problems. Was put down. Well-bred horse though, out of Bally by the English Channel mare BRB. So it's a well-bred filly. Came here neutral. So it hasn't lived up to expectation. Won the was this the 8:30 sprint last year, February. So definitely had problems. Just returning after a year. Gets visiting rider Joseph Treos. Expecting a much better run here. It's interesting to see how this horse should perform. I think has a little speed, so I'm expecting to see this horse flash it coming off of that race. And the 12 horse, Cosmic Force, Radish Roman for Stephen Todd. Back-to-back seconds last month. First one was second by 2 lengths, 5.5 furlongs to Speedball Sugar. Came back, ran up in another horse with lone speed. That was She's My Hedge Fund at 7 furlongs. This time around, might get a little pace to run at. And I think Cosmic Force definitely going to fight this finish out. So as I said, I don't really want to stick my neck out on a particular horse, because I think it sets up for any one of these what I just said. So they're going to be the 2 Empress Links, the 9 Tiger Amidat, my long shots, the 10 Sweet Victory, 11 Bella Bella, and the 12 Cosmic Force. The 4th race, the Rock Rendezvous. Yeah, the Rock Rendezvous. Native bred 4 years and up. Nuns of 4 and imported 4 years and up. Nuns of 3. Another big field, 15. 7.5 furlongs is the distance. Okay, this number looks like the prominent number. I'm going to boil this down to 5. All right, they are the 3 Wizkid, the 9 Acknowledge Me, the 10 James, the 14 Burning Valor, and the 15 Wayne's Princess. Okay, Wizkid. Good run and last. Beaten a 3rd by a length and a quarter to California Gold at 7 furlongs. California Gold got to that lead. Absolutely stole the race. Wizkid did not get a pace to run at, but ran very well to be only beaten a length and a quarter there with Christopher Mamdine. Tevin Foster replaces Christopher Mamdine here for Donovan Hutchinson. 7.5 is absolutely perfect trip for this Wizkid. Will be coming from off the pace as usual. Definitely going to have the pace to run at this time around. So I'm expecting a capital run here from this Wizkid. The 2 Huntsman. Mamdine has opted to go for Huntsman here. I don't really fancy him, to be honest with you. 7 furlongs, kind of his distance. Okay. Well, next horse I like in the race is Acknowledge Me. Okay, Acknowledge Me. A lot of people are going to be like, wow, can't get the trip. Well, one thing I know for certain, that Acknowledge Me is supposed to be I think it's definitely the fastest horse in this race. Riley Showman still sits to this ride. Got involved in a very blistering fractions. Well, I wouldn't say the fractions was fast, but he hooked up with a horse on last. It might not reflect it in the pace of the race, but you have to understand Caymanas Park has a very heavy surface, so depending on certain times of the day, especially when rain falls, it can be very heavy. So he got hooked up, involved in a little duel there, and he petered out in the stretch run. Got beaten by Noble Attitude and Lady Abimala at 5.5 furlongs. So even though stretching out to 7.5 might look like he's not going to have a chance here, but I'm thinking he's going to be the horse that you're going to have to catch. He's worked well since that race. He's galloped 7 furlongs in 1:33. So he's been training for this race. And he's definitely going to be the horse you're going to have to catch. This Acknowledge Me. Okay, next up is James. Beachy's my hedge fund back in September at 7 furlongs. Came back at this very distance and ran up in the same race with California Gold and Whiz Kid there. That was his introduction into this at this level. I think you're going to get a much better run from James at a very big price. Worked well coming into this race. 5.5 in 110 by 102 and 4. Ryan Lewis gets the ride now for Spencer Chung. I'm expecting James to put in a good run at a good price. The 6, no, sorry, not the 6, the 14, sorry. The 14 is Burning Valor. This is another late running sort. Robert Haldane gets the ride here for Greg Fennell. 7 furlongs was in that same California Gold race, was a 4th. He was much closer to the pace, but that didn't help his cause, because he's also one of those sustainers that likes to kick in the stretch. So going to have a pace to run at here. So if we can get a good position before they reach the final 3, definitely should be finishing strong. Has worked well coming into this. November 30th out the chute, gallop 6 furlongs in 1:14. So he's busy, he's sound, very fit coming into the race. Burning Valor should put in a capital run as well. And the 15 horse, Wayne's Princess, second in that same California Gold race. I think he's the horse that might get first run on the late kickers. This Wayne's Princess. I think if Acknowledge Me crumbles before he turns in, I think if there's a horse that's going to get by Acknowledge Me before turning for home, it should be Wayne's Princess. And drawn 15. He's drawn 15. So if we can get a good position behind Baby Love, Sugar Sugar, and Acknowledge Me, going at it hard up there, if they crumble, I think Wayne Princess is the one that's going to make the first run. And if he does make that first run and get away at the top of the lane, probably prove hard to beat. But it's open with those horses. I pick any one of them I think can win. Kind of leaning towards Widskid, but I'm deadly afraid of Acknowledge Me. I know everybody says he's going to stop before them coming to lane, but I'm super scared of him. I just think him just going is so fast. I think he's going to just kick away from Sugar Sugar and Baby Love, and you're going to have to run your heart out to get back. But yeah, those are my 5. The 3 Wizkid, the 9 Acknowledge Me, the 10 James, the 14 Burning Valor, and the 15 Wayne's Princess. I think any one of those 5 can win. So your guess is as good as mine. The 5th race, the Woodford Way. Native bred 3-year-olds, non-owners of 2, and imported 3-year-olds on a maiden. 12 starters, 9.5 furlongs is the trip. Boils down to 4. They are the 2, Lucy in the Sky. The 3, J. Spree. What's how you pronounce that? J. Spieth, sorry. J. Spieth. The 9, Oil Machine, and the 11, Kaylin Melody. Okay. Lucy in the Sky. This Lucy in the Sky plays second fiddle to her stablemates most of the time. Most of the time, you see her in a race, she has a stablemate in the race, and she's used as, what do I call her, a rabbit. She ensures that the pace goes fast. So sometimes she doesn't get to run her own genuine race. Now at 9.5 furlongs, very relaxing pace. Lucy the Sky, Tevin Foster in the saddle. She has worked well coming into this. She beat Brown Single at exercise and last time out. So I'm expecting a very, very different run from this Lucy in the Sky. I'm expecting Lucy in the Sky to perform very well. The 3, Jay Spieth, tried to make all the running and last, but was under pressure. Was pressured by Lucy in the Sky in the early part of that race. As I was saying, Lucy in the Sky was kind of pressuring. This time I think she will be more rated. Jay Spieth going to try to do the same thing, going to get an easier pace, I think, because 9.25 is going 2 turns. So I think he'll be allowed to relax a little more. Does he stay the 9.5 though? I'm not sure he's really a middle distance horse, to be honest. I think he's more of a middle sprinter and going middle distance. I don't know if they get him to relax enough. Maybe he'll stay it, but I'm not 100% sure. But I've got to put him in because he's definitely, I think, the speed horse of the event. The 9, Oil Machine. Well, Oil Machine gets the trip. Looks like a middle distance runner. Ryan Lewis gets back the ride here. Last time what was at 6 furlongs. Definitely too sharp for Oil Machine. Should be way more comfortable here at this trip. Tends to like to go out on the lead if he can get it. Don't think he's going to get it here, but I'm carrying him because I think he stays the trip. And if ridden to probably start the leaders, I think he'll put in another good run. The 11, Kaelin's Melody. This is a late running mare now. Christopher Mamdine gets a ride for Robert Pearson. This race is going to suit this horse because she's definitely a middle distance horse. She definitely loves going 2 turns. And once they crack up front, I think this Kaelin Melody blows by them easily in the stretch. Last time out, a mile, I think she was a little too early for the first half mile. So I think that's why she didn't really fire in that event. But going this 2 turn now, a much milder pace, I think you're going to get the better Kaelin Melody. And I think definitely Kaelin Melody is the horse you're going to have to beat in this event. So those are my 4. The 2, Lucy in the Sky, expect a much improved run from her. The 3, J Speed, going to try to make all the running. The 9, Oil Machine definitely gets the trip. Would prefer if he was on the lead. But the horse I think they're going to have to beat, because I think the pace sets up, is definitely the 11, Kaelin Melody. And for those who like High Five and Superfecta, a long shot that you can squeeze into it that might surprise is the 6 horse Spinal Tap It with Omar Walker for Philip Lee. So you can squeeze that one on your exotic bets. The 6th race, I Print Crown. It's 3 years and up, claiming 1.5 million, maximum field of 16. 7 furlongs is the distance. And I'll boil this down to 5. They are the 1, Tigre Express. The 7, Rejected Raja. The 12, March and Shoot. 15, Taros Boy. And the 16, Provocativia. Tigre Express went over the straight and last, coming at $1 million claiming. I think that was a tune-up run. It was 5th by 6 to KP Choice. Comes back up here at 7 furlongs. Going to be at a big price, but it's just fishy for me that this is a 7 furlong horse. He likes the distance. They ran him over the straight and last in the claiming ranks, and now they're carrying him back 7 furlongs in this race. Coming in at a big price. I would squeeze him into exotic bets, this Tigre Express. The 7, who's the interesting horse in this race to me. This is Rejected Raja, Omar Walker. Comes back for the ride. Last time out at 5 furlongs round. Absolutely ran away from $1 million claimers. So he's definitely sound once again. Was mainly running over the straight 5 races. But they've looked like they've found him. I think whatever ailment he has is probably corrected, because he's trotting, he's cantering, he's on the track. And for a long time he wasn't. A lot of people would say he can't get 7 furlongs, but I'm going to remind you, in last year's Prince Consort Stake, Rejected Raja was second to Mojito. So go back and check that out. He was second to Mojito in the Prince Concert Stick at 7 furlongs. So if a very sound and fit Rejected Raja decides that he's going to run good here, he's getting a good price here with Omar Walker, I think Rejected Raja is going to run a capital race here. The 12, March and Shoot, recent upset winner at 43 to 1 at 6.5 furlongs in this same class. Beat Taurus Boy and Sonny T and Chippy after jumping slow but fairly flew in the stretch when the pace came back. Should get a strong pace again today. Mambin still has the ride and are expecting another strong finish here from this March and Shoot. The 15, Taurus Boy, stalked the pace on last, made his move, hit the front at the furlong pole, but was outfinished by March and Shoot. T. Foster replaces Paul Francis, going half a furlong longer. Under a more patient ride though, I'm expecting Taurus Boy to stick in there. 7 furlong might be a little bit on the far side for Taurus Boy, but he is fit, so you can't rule out a fit horse. And the 16, the horse I think they're going to have to beat, that's this Provocativa. Emisiel Aramilo, rider from Gulfstream Park, he has the ride. And Pace Sart, the trainer looks like he's probably going to try something new here. He's drawn wide, so he can't really idle behind the field, so he's going to have to get out of those gates fast and try to get a good position. 7 furlongs, I think, is the perfect trip for him. Last 2 runs, you can throw them out. His last time at 7 furlongs was back in June when he was just caught by Fred the Great when trying to steal home. And freshened, gets 2 runs recently. I'm going to toss those runs out. And I think Provocativa is going to run a much different race. And I think the 7 furlong is going to suit him. So I think he's definitely going to fight it out. But the horse I really like in the race, and the horse that I think I might put a wager on, is going to come in at a good price, is the 7 Rejected Raja. I'm thinking he's going to go right to the front and probably make all the running at a good price. I could be wrong, but I'm going to take a gamble on him. So those are my 5 for the race. The 1, Tigre Express. The 7, Rejected Raja. The 12, March and Shoot. The 15, Taurus Boy. And the 16, Provocativa. And I like Rejected Raja. The 7th, the first of the good races. This is the Chairman's Plate. 3 years and up, overnight allowance, so it's grade 3. 12 starters, 9 furlongs and 25 yards. Interesting contest. Okay, I've boiled this race down to 3, maybe 2. 2 horses, my main 2 horses, but overall 3. I think it's going to be a cool trifecta. Okay, number 1, Run Julie Run. The 4, Impressive Force. And the 12, Blue Vinyl. Okay, all right. Run Julie Run. Very interesting. Ian Prasad is a very astute trainer. You know, he knows his horses. If you remember, I can't remember that filly that won the Guineas. And he had the option to either run in the Derby or run in the Oaks, and he went for the Oaks, and he won the Oaks, but you could say that she didn't stay the trip, and it was a smart choice going into the Oaks instead of the Derby because she wouldn't have a chance in the Derby, so he won the Oaks. This year, he had the same option with Run Julie 1. Could have gone in the Oaks, where it'd be a sure win, or go for the Derby. He opted for the Derby, and she only lost by a head, so it shows you that how well he thinks of this horse, Run Julie Run. Run Julie Run was a secured position in the MOUTTET Mile. And Ian Prasad has opted not to run in the MOUTTET Mile. Takes his chances here in the Chairman Plate. So in my idea, I'm thinking that Ian Prasad thinks this is a walk in the park. This $1.6 million lion's share of this purse is a cakewalk. And I would think so too, if I'm training Run Julie Run. But it's not a cakewalk. Because she's facing a horse she beat recently, but under different circumstances. That is the 4, Impressive Force. Okay, Impressive Force. The last time they met, it was at a mile. Impressive Force, who is known to be basically a run-on horse, was the horse that really was chasing Run Julie Run. There was no one there. So Run Julie Run basically got away with a very easy pace. and beat this Impressive Force by 3 3/4 lengths. In that race, Impressive Force carried 126 pounds. Run Julie Run carried 121 pounds. So Impressive Force was giving Run Julie Run 5 pounds. Now Run Julie Run is giving Impressive Force 1 pound. So it's 6 pounds in favor of Impressive Force. Plus, they're going longer now. It's a 2-turn event. So it's a race that Impressive Force, I think, can relax a little more. This is the first time Impressive Force is going 2 turns, but I think he's clearly a middle distance runner. And Run Julie Run not going to have it her own way. That's the first thing you have to look at. She's not going to get it how she wants it, you know. So she's going to either have to run like how she ran in the Jamaica Cup, sit off and lower the speed, make them run, and then have to make the move with Impressive Force when Impressive Force is full of run, or she's going to have to go to lead and try to fight them off, because she's a God gift, clearly is going to try to go for that lead. You have Easy Peasy, who's going to be out there too. So it's not going to be an easy lead to just go on and just run about your business. So I'm thinking definitely Run Julie Run, yes, the horse you're going to have to beat, but I am favoring Impressive Force. Everything is boiling up. It's favoring Impressive Force in the way I'm working the race out. The third horse in the race is a horse that if this race was run last year at this time, he would have definitely been the horse to beat, and that's Blue Vinyl. His last, is back in October of last year in the Mount Myra Trophy at 9 furlongs and 25 yards, this exact same distance. He dismantled the head cornerstone and Miniature Man by 18 lengths in 154, getting to the lead and no one pressed him. He came back, was second to Atomica in the Jamaica Cup, and then something obviously went wrong. Didn't come back out till almost a year, 11 months after. He ran October over a straight 5 race and was 5th by 3 lengths. So that's a very good run. So that's telling me that Blue Vinyl is sound and ready. Hasn't really seen any work. So he's probably swimming, but comes in with top weight. So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of speed in the race. So that's why I'm not really going to carry him to beat the top 2. But I think he should definitely have a good shot in it. So those are my 3. The 1, Run Julie Run, the 4, Impressive Force, and the 12, Blue Vinyl. I'm giving the edge to Impressive Force. And if Blue Vinyl doesn't turn up and completes that trifecta, I'm going to give you all a long shot in case Blue Vinyl falters. It's going to be the 7, Positive ID, because I think he'll be the one finishing best out of everybody else. And if Blue Vinyl doesn't get that 3rd, a long shot to watch is definitely Positive ID. The 8th race, the Mayberry Gold, native bred 3-year-old and 4-year-olds, non-reserve 4 and imported 3-year-olds and up non-reserve 3. Big field of 15. 7 furlongs is the distance. Again, I'm going to boil this down to 5 horses. The 3, Amazing Force. The 6, Supremacy. The 7, Fearless Force. The 8, Captain Sparrow. And the 15, King Pie. So the way I have it here, I have it as a Baba Nunes and a Philip Fiani high five. Okay, first up it's Amazing Force. This horse, 2 starts, debut in January in the Rimsky, was second to Fun Can Done by 8 lengths at 6 furlongs. Came back a month after that at 6.5 furlongs and ran on and won, beating Come Home to Me, was a classic horse, and Run Julie Run, the champion 3-year-old, after walking out of the gates and running on. So this Amazing Force definitely is a useful horse. Something obviously went wrong. Haven't seen this horse since February. He's busy at the exercise track. Has some 3 furlongs work coming into the race. Gets apprentice Richard Henry up to claim 3. So expecting a good run here from this Amazing Force of the rest. The 6, Supremacy. This horse put on a show and last and narrowly beaten by a short head by Impressive Force. So if I pick Impressive Force to win the previous race, I'm picking Supremacy to win this. Tevin Foster still has the ride here. Baba horses it seems like they're peaking at the perfect time, because I think this Supremacy is definitely peaking. He has a good size on him. This is a very big horse. He reminds me of his brother, Big Daddy Cool. You know, he has that nice big build. He though has what his big brother didn't have, is some pace, and he displayed it on last. And I'm very excited to see how much this horse has improved. This is the horse I'm picking to win, Supremacy. The 7, Fearless Force. Also a very useful animal. This imported horse, Radish Roman, has the ride, beaten 2 lengths fourth by El Rapido and Commander Zian last over the straight 5 course. Should welcome 7 furlongs. Last time over 7 furlongs ran in to Supremacy. Was challenging for most of the way, but then Supremacy decided to pull off, but he looks like he's improving at the right time as well, and should try to chase Supremacy once again. The 8, the horse that was third in Derby, the very big far-striding Captain Sparrow, Shane Ellis has the ride here. Was coming from out of the clouds and last, and stopped by Sheer Delight, who's running in the MOUTTET Mile later this evening. Highly thought of Captain Sparrow. Has a big late turn of foot, but lacks that early pace. 7 furlongs might be on the sharp side for this Captain Sparrow, but if his stablemate goes too fast and the pace decides to come back, I think Captain Sparrow will be the one finishing the best, as he definitely has the class, and I'm expecting Captain Sparrow to be charging home late once again. And his other stablemate, the 15, King Pie, also look like he's rounding out into good form. Joseph Treos has the ride here for New Baba. Last time out at a mile, close to catch Jay Spieth trying to steal home. Before that, had a few lackluster performances, but I think rounding out now to be a decent horse, this King Pie, and I'm expecting him to run a good race here, probably make the high 5 or the superfecta. So those are my 5. They are the 3, Amazing Force, the 6, Supremacy, the 7, Fearless Force, the 8, Captain Sparrow, and the 15, King Pie. And I think it's going to be a Baba Quinella. I think Supremacy has improved so much. I think he's going to make all the run and win and hold off stablemate Captain Sparrow. The 9th, the IGT Trophy, 2-year-old maiden special weight, big field of 14 youngsters at 5.5 furlongs. And this race, your guess is going to be as good as mine. I'm going to work with just how the horse is working. So I round this off to 5 horses. The 1, Rico, the 3, Unruly Mo, the 4, T-Swizzle, the 6, Ride All Day, and the 10, Quantum Star. Going out for workouts. I think the winner comes from one of those. Kind of liking back this Unruly Mo. Got a baptism of sand kicked in his face and last after impressive workouts coming into race, but he ran up into a very useful unspun, was in a very mean mood, and went early, paid the price in the lane, comes back quick. Robert Halliday now has the ride, so interesting to see how Unruly Mo runs second time out, but faces some horses working well, so your guess is as good as mine. So I hope the winner comes from one of those. The 10 and penultimate event, Bruce and Loose Sprint Trophy, 3-year-olds and up, stakes, grade 2, 10 starters, 6.5 furlongs. This race I think comes down between 5 horses. The 3 Mojito, the 4 Madeline Sunshine, the 5 Major Danger, the 8 Fearless Soul, and the 9 Perfect Brew. Okay. Mojito, freshened since last year December, came back on November 2nd, 6 furlongs, annihilated the opposition, winning by 9 lengths in 1 minute 12 and 3. Came back a little bit tired though. You can see after they came out of the winner's enclosure, was being soaked by the trainer. So he came out a little bit, went a little too fast, but has worked well since that. Has worked 127 for 7. His last work coming to 36 and 4. So I think he's over his issues, and I think he should continue on winning ways, this Mojito. The 4, Madeline Sunshine, has run against the best sprinters in the country. And on her best day, she's tending to change her running style. She usually used to be a horse that goes right to the front. Now she seems to be tracking the lead and making her move, which I think is a good move for her. She's now 5 years old, so she's probably thinking about retirement right now, but another good run expected here. Although would prefer it shorter, but she does have some class. The 5, Major Danger, a recent winner in the Grade 2 race back in September, beating Fearless Soul and Sensational Move. Came back, was 5th to Fun Can Done. Then last start out at 6 furlongs, ran up into Desert of Malibu, beating 8 lengths. Was closing the last furlong. He made up 8 lengths in that last furlong. So not a bad run there. 6.5 furlongs. All the way top weight. Definitely will be coming in this race with a good run. This Major Danger. The 8, Fearless Soul. Very useful start. Recent winner in the Harlequin at 5 furlongs straight, catching Sensational Move and Madeline Sunshine. Just before that was second to Major Danger at 7 furlongs. Before that at 6 was 11 and 4th to Desert of Malibu. Last time out, stretched out a little bit. I think the distance was a little too long. Was 5th to Atomica. Back to distance where much more comfortable and not a very good run now expected from Fearless Soul. And the 9 horse Perfect Brew. Recent win at 5.5 at overnight and was beating Money Market. Came up in class, went 6 furlongs in the Port Royal Sprint. Was 8 lengths, 5th to Desert of Malibu. No Desert of Malibu around, and should be closing fast in the stretch once again. So those are my 5. Mojito, the horse you all have to beat. The 4, Madeline Sunshine. The 5, Major Danger. The 8, Fearless Soul. And the 9, Perfect Brew. I think I'll buy a quinel with with Mojito and Fearless Soul in the 10th. The 11th and final, the $250,000 MOUTTET Mile. A 3 years and up stakes race. Maximum field of 16. Grade 1 horses. 8 furlongs. Let's get into it. Okay, hope I don't spend too much time. I went through this race. I've been over it, and I worked it out to 7 horses. Okay, the other 1, Tizstock. The 4, Desert of Malibu. The 6, Barnaby. The 8, Fun Can Done. The 10, Legacy Isle. The 11, Commandant. And the 15, Is That a Fact? I was hoping that I would find one of these local horses, because it'd really be good if one of the local horses win. And between it's only 3 local horses I really was working on, but I just can't see them in it further and beyond. Interesting times ahead, who worked absolutely brilliant coming into this race. 7 furlongs in 125.4. But the pace factor of the race, just I can't include him. And horse of the year, Super Filly Atomica, but she's now 5, so I know she's probably going to go to the breeding barn after this. And she has her kryptonite. She hates when there's somebody in front of her. And this race, I think there's definitely going to be somebody in front of her, so I can't use her. So that's why I don't pick a local horse. I would love if a local horse win this, but I just couldn't find a local horse to win it. So those are my 7 that I worked out. Let's talk about first one, Tizstock. Okay, Tizstock comes in with some good credentials. Has been burning up the exercise track. Everyone's talking about Tizstock. Last work coming into this was a 6 furlong work in 113, where he absolutely annihilated stablemate Power From Above. Here's the thing about Tizstock though. Tizstock is the quintessential miler. Most of the wins that this horse has is at a mile. But the mile that Tizstock runs is generally 2-turn miles. So that means it's like a 9.25 out here, where you're going 9 furlongs, but a sprinter can win it because the pace is so slow. It's similar to that with Tizstock. Tizstock runs 2-turn miles, so it's very easy pace miles. It looks fast when you're looking at it. Oh, in 40s, it's easy. It's an easy pace mile where you can start and then kick, so you get that strong finish. So that's the con to his stock running style. I think those are much smaller tracks. Caymanas Park are much bigger track. So chasing the speed on this much bigger track plus this wider turn, you're going to have a whole 4 furlongs before you hit that turn, which is going to be very fast paced to that 4 furlong turn. He's drawn one. He's going to be forced to go very early. So Shane Ellis is going to have him out there on them very early because he doesn't want to get bogged down on that rail heading into that first turn. So that's the kind of thing to Tiztock's run here. So that's why I don't have him as my number one horse. The 4, Super Horse, Desert of Malibu. This filly, she seemed to can't do anything wrong, but I think she also has a kryptonite in her thing. She also she is a pace horse. She likes to go early, but depends on how fast. The one time this horse has ever tested real pace was when she hooked up with Mahogany. If you guys remember that race, they went head and head, and that's the slowest she has ever run for 6 furlong, 113 and 2. And the way how slow she was, she only beat a gift from Ben by 3 lengths. So that tells me that if Desert of Malibu gets hooked up in a speed match, going a mile against some real fast horses, I think she's beaten. She's coming in light. The only good thing about her now, I think she might be able to be rated. I remember a time going where she walked out to the starting gate at 6 furlongs. That was back in January. Walked out dead last. Looked like she had no chance. Still ran out and winning 112. So if trainer Sabati was rating her in this race, if she trains on to rate, she could be a very dangerous horse. But as I said, the one time I see that horse been tested is the slowest she ever run. Just winning by 3 lengths over a gift from Ben in a race that she was disqualified for causing interference to Mahogany, but then reinstated. I don't know if that's the one she was reinstated for. I don't think that's the one. I think she possibly was reinstated for the one against I've Got Magic, because the one was against Mahogany, she definitely did cause Mahogany to lose that second spot. But she's a big American filly, and depends. I want to see how she run. If she's going to go out there on the lead or she's going to be weighted with. If she hooks up on the lead, I don't see her staying out the mile and beating these horses. The 6, Barnaby. Barnaby is a very small colt. He's very small and compact, but has a beautiful stride. He has a nice long stride for his size. He looks like his great grandfather, Northern Dancer. You know, he has that look. He's very small, but he's very compact and has this big stride. One very impressive one last. Didn't beat anyone. He was racing against the clock, but he showed how powerful he was. Walker was trying his best to wait for the top of the lane, but he just dragged Walker through. And then in the final part of the race, you see Walker kind of reminded him because he looked like he started to idle a little bit, and then he took off again. So he's a very explosive small horse. Can fit through any little crack working well coming into this race. And I don't think they should sleep on this Barnaby. They're talking that he's a speed horse. The way I see he run overseas and how he ran recently, I think he's a stalker. He'll sit maybe third, fourth, watch his speed, make his move leaving the half mile, and then try to explode in the stretch from them. But he's a very powerful runner for such a small horse. A horse that I left out of it is Pack Plays. A lot of people are going to question that. Pack Plays has never been past 6.5 in his career. He's a speedball. There's going to be a lot of speed here. I don't know how Kevin Krieger is going to ride him, but I think Pack Plays' best chance is to go to the front. Last time out, lost the irons with Cardenas in the saddle. And I think that race, if he didn't lose the irons, I think Desert of Malibu would have probably been in danger of losing because this Wall Street trader was really finishing strong. So if Pack Play went out there and they gutted it, Wall Street trader probably would be finishing fast. So maybe Pack Play is a rabbit in here for stablemate Wall Street trader. That's interesting. That's a possibility though. Next up is Fun Candon. This horse is the Gold Cup winner. Very useful American. Likes to sit just behind the leader, stalking the leader, and then make his move. Ran up into Atomica at 9.5 on last. But Atomica had that race her own way. So Fun Candon didn't have any help to get to her in that race. I think he runs in front of Atomica this time around though, um, sitting just off the pace and saving a run. I think Fun Candon definitely earns here. The 10, the first of the Rowan Crichton's horse, Legacy Isle. Now, Legacy Isle is a stakes running horse, very good stakes running horse. His last run was back in July where he won with Anthony Thomas in a 75,000 handicap race. This horse can change gears because Legacy Isles can lead and Legacy Isles can be held up. So he's a very dangerous horse. It's a horse that has gears. The son of Shackleford. My only concern with Legacy Isle, he doesn't change his lead legs. To me, that's a bad sign. I don't like buying a horse that don't change them lead legs because they tend to break down later on, and especially in races that are very, very fast. So I was concerned about that, but he's been running with most of his career like that. So I guess we'll see what happens. But they're saying he's the horse you're going to have to beat. The 11, Commandant. Now, this horse is what you call a quintessential stretch runner. This horse sits behind you. You go too fast, you're going to have to face Commandant in the stretch. There's talk that Paco Lopez is on a suspension, so he might not be able to ride. And Dean Nelson might be the rider. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. But as I said, Commandant is the quintessential stretch runner. And if they all go too fast too soon in this race, Commandant will be flying. I was impressed by his workout out the gate recently, where he went a mile in 1:44 by 1:29.1. I thought that work was a strut. When I saw that, the rider was so tall in his back, I thought he was just strutting. So this very well-bred son of Gervin, what made his debut at 5 furlongs, came from way off the pace to win. Since then has run mile and 70 and races like that. His last start back in September was second, coming from off the pace to his stablemate, Read On. So it was a 1-2 in that race for Rowan Crichton. And he came out of that race and came to Jamaica now. He's the horse that will be closing like a bat out of hell. And that's the horse they're all going to have to hold off in the stretch. And finally, the 15 horse. Is that a fact? This horse has been begging for a mile. The last time this horse was at a mile was the Viceroy Stakes back in April, when was a little bit early. There was no one there to go with Atomica. So Is That a Fact had to do that dirty work. And Atomica skipped off with no pace and then finished second to Atomica. Since then, has been running mostly sprint races. When I say sprint race, I mean short sprint race, because a mile is basically a sprint race. It's an intermediate sprint. Has been running mostly mid sprints. Last time out was 3 lengths third to Desert of Malibu from off the pace with the big weight. Gets a ease in the handicaps today, and going to get the kind of race that he would want to run. And I think we're going to see this Is That a Fact running on in the MOUTTET Mile. Interesting horse to notice. Sheer Delight, this horse, if covered up for a run and held off the fractions, can finish fast. So too the other Hutchinson horse, further and beyond. You hold further and beyond at the back and let him run late. He might earn some money in this race. So it's an interesting contest. But those are my 7. The 1 Tizstock, the 4 Desert of Malibu, the 6 Barnaby, the 8 Fun Candon, the 10 Legacy Isle, the 11 Commandant, and 15 Is That a Fact. The horse I like to win though is Commandant. I think the pace sets up perfectly for Commandant, and I think he catches them in deep stretch. So that's the horse I'm picking for the MOUTTET Mile. What's you guys pick? Comment and tell me what you think. Leave a like, subscribe, and share. Good luck tomorrow, and as usual, be safe.